We were really avid fishermen. We were pan fishermen. We chased panfish. And the thing was, there was absolutely nothing on the market to do what we wanted it to do. So we would modify like everybody else. We'd get baits and change this and change that. We did the same thing with corks. We'd get foam corks. We'd load them with lead. We'd try to get them out there for the casting distance, but we couldn't quite get that sensitivity. And so we started playing with more weights, and eventually we pinned that down. So we married the two, sensitivity along with the casting distance. And I'll tell you what, that was the start of the rocket bobber. That was the basic reason behind it, because it simply wasn't on the market. There was a lot of good bobbers on the market. There was a lot of good floats, but the thing about it was they were all a single key feature specific. So one would give you some great casting distance, one would give you some really good sensitivity, one would be maybe a fixed bobber, one would be a slip float. But the thing was, nobody offered all the features in just one product, and that's what we were looking for. We were looking to take that, combine everything together into one product. The science behind the rocket bobber, the physics behind the rocket bobber are to the point that they're actually used by professors in the UW system, University of Wisconsin College system, to teach physics. And that was the whole process. We had to marry those two. We had to marry the casting distance and the sensitivity. And once we did that, we knew we had something. And we spent probably 2 to 3 weeks just on color. Because the fact is, this rocket bobber casts so far and set up as where you're using that lever arm action, it was really hard to actually see that stem come up. And so we spent 2 weeks just on color itself. And we figured out that finally a matte finish was the way to go. And we ended up with a yellow for the cloudy days and an orange for the sunny days, and that was the best visibility that we had found through all the colors that we did. It was just incredible. A lot of the other products on the market were not very durable, and that was one of our goals. You know, not only does it assist in the casting distance, we needed that extra weight, and besides the design inside it, but we wanted to be able to, a lot of the products were glued together. These two halves were glued together. What we wanted to do is we used a process, we used ABS, which is the same stuff that Coleman canoes are made out of, and then we actually sonic welded these bobbers. So I mean, they're very, very durable, and that was a go. I mean, we wanted something. If we're gonna make a product, we want that product to last. You know, we've got a rattle series that works out really well. There's so many features to the bobber. It's not only a fixed float, but you can use it as a slip float too with a bobber stop. And with the rattle series, it's incredible. You can set this thing up, you can use plastics, you can, similar to the Carolina rig, similar to the drop shotting, but now you can adjust your depths with just by simply moving a stop. And so it's very, very versatile. Rocket bobber is available in 3 sizes. They come in a game fish, 6 1/4, then they come into a panfish, which is 4 3/4, and then they come into the ultralight size, 3 3/4. Now the thing about it is, quite frankly, besides in the slip bobber mode, the 6 1/4 will hold a heavier weight, you know, than the 3 3/4 inch. The fact is, they all have the same sensitivity, you know, but it's real hard to comprehend that, because you see this big 6 1/4 inch thing and you're saying, okay, well, that fish is going to have to pull this so hard, you know, to pull this, versus I want the same concept with a smaller bobber. That's what everybody wanted to do, and that's why we actually downsized. But we really never had to have come off that 6 1/4 inch. Yeah, and not only do we have the different sizes like that, we also have a glow series. And the thing about the glow series is it's just about literally impossible in clear water for these fish to see that glow series sitting up there. Most people traditionally think about bobbers and they think about the cork standing up like this. And in all reality, the rocket bobber, what we have is we have a lever arm action. So in other words, you cast this thing out, all right, the bobber's designed to lay flat with a lightweight presentation, hook and worm, a 32nd ounce jig or smaller, live bait, plastic, it doesn't matter. That bobber's gonna lay flat. And as soon as that fish starts to inhale that bait, that bobber's gonna start to stand up. That's when you can set the hook. You don't have to wait until it's all the way up like a traditional bobber would be and go down. All you have to do is let it start to stand up, you can set the hook. Besides being a fixed lock-on, lay flat type of bobber, it also has a slip bobber feature. And that bobber is designed now to stand vertical. With the 6 1/4 inch, you can go up to a 1/4 ounce weight on that where you're going to be vertical. You know, and I'm talking about using a bobber stop or even a lock-on that way, but it's still going to stand vertical. You go into the panfish, you go into a 16th ounce, which is just an incredible presentation. And then with the mini ultralight, you can do a 16th ounce also. which is going to sit a little bit lower. But the thing about it is, that's neutral buoyancy. What we worked on was neutral buoyancy. So that fish, basically, as soon as he sucks the bait in and starts to drop, that bobber is going down already. It's just incredible. Sensitivity is beyond belief, but now in a vertical position. Crappies are notorious for the upbite. And so what is really cool about this bobber is when that crappie comes up and grabs that bait, that bobber is going to start to lay flat like that. You set the hook. That's the time to set the hook. That is a crappie 100% of the time. It is a crappie, you set the hook. And this bobber, I mean, very few bobbers detect the upbite. And a lot of people don't realize about the upbite, so they don't get the fish. The fact is that as soon as you see that bobber start to lay down, set the hook.
Is Brett Favre the greatest thing to ever happen to football?
You know, the funniest thing about Brett Favre, in my eyes, I say it's awesome. It's awesome, absolutely. He was a Packer. I mean, he was a Packer for a lot of years. You know, granted, everybody's with Aaron Rodgers, and, you know, Peyton Manning was this, all these. But no, Favre, what a tough bird. I'll tell you, the guy, Mississippi boy, incredible. Awesome. Yes, he is. He's our guy.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time with us, Ken.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Thanks a lot.